Before the actual podcast begins, I'd like to thank everybody humbly from the bottom of my heart for taking the opportunity to check out this podcast during their trip on the train, or to work, or from work, or at home, relaxing, drinking a cold beer, drinking a cold tea, drinking a hot tea, drinking any sort of tea possible. Again, thank you all for listening in, and let's begin.
Batman, you now have permission to climax. Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch, as well as SoundCloud listeners. If that wasn't rated X for you, I don't know what was, or what will be, or what will be in the time to come. So, alright, this episode is going to involve sequels, many sequels, a couple sequels, maybe 3 sequels I'm going to talk about today. Yes, 3 sequels, with most symbolic, of course, infamous, of definitely episodic, or in this case, just flat-out goodness that we like to call gaming. Now, most gaming, as we know, usually has sequels if a game's generally pretty good. Most notorious one is games such as, if not shy of, Final Fantasy, and just games that you could probably think of on the top of your head, most likely had a sequel. Like Tetris had a sequel, and spin-offs, and all kinds of reinvigorated, terrible ones, and games that have Tales of on the front of it, but yet necessarily is not quite the same series as it usually is. It has the same mechanics, but not quite. So you have so many of these games that you could probably name off. Do so in the comments if you wish. Just ramble them off along with me. We'll have a good old jolly time while drinking eggnog. Of course, the holidays are over. I got plenty of items for Christmas that I've gotten through gift cards or whatever else, and I have myself a very happy holiday season. If you guys do not celebrate the holidays but still exchange gifts like the Dickens, then, I hope you guys got something really good for the holidays. Unfortunate news, of course, happened for some friends and family that I do know, which is, it sort of sucks always hearing about this type of stuff. I'm not going to talk about it on here because this isn't what this type of show is about, but just sort of like to spew out this information very vaguely, if possible. But yeah, it's been unfortunate, but at the same time I've seen a lot of positive things come out, such as announcements for sequels and all that, and as well as sort of something not so good. And I'll get into that one, I think, last, because it requires me to actually read, which is not one of my fortes. Actually, no, I'm kidding, I can read, it just takes me a while longer because of... I have a issue with reading. It's not I have a Mayweather style of reading. It's just I am dyslexic, so it's hilarious whenever I read something out loud or try to read it. It's a nightmare, but yet I can still read it. It's just like it takes me a little while longer because I have to sit there and break down the letters really fast in my head as I'm trying to read them. And this is generally the process people have to do when it comes to reading, and it's sort of an automatic process with any given language. With me, it takes me to break down the words manually, which is sort of weird for some folks who are like, what the f***, are you stupid? And I guess so, I must be mentally stupid, but no. Yeah, it's sort of funny that way. But anyway, so Psychonauts 2 finally got funded. Tim Schafer and his team from Double Fine Productions actually just recently announced this. They're still ongoing with the said Kickstarter, which I think is quite interesting. Such a renowned, I would say, company such as Double Fine Productions require crowdfunding, but at the same time I see it as you pay what you get, or get what you pay for. And so I can kind of see that metaphor working with these type of Kickstarters. Yes, sure, at the end of the day, Tim Schafer could easily just go and try to find a way to find some first party company like Sony or whatever to fund their project, but with a grand scale as what Psychonauts was at the time, a lot of people requested this. They wanted a sequel. So Tim Schafer said, hey, if you want it so bad, fund it. I mean, that philosophy I don't see as being bad. It's sort of like if you want a cheeseburger or something from McDonald's and you just want to eat the said cheeseburger. You don't want no fries, you don't want no cola, you just want the burger by itself. You want to eat that 80 to 92 genetically manipulated beef, and you just want to consume it because you're hungry, you're starving, you want it right then and there. So this is practically what this is. And I just think it's a fantastic thing. It put a sprinkle and a twinkle and everything else in my eye. I mean, unfortunately, I did not have I would say, I'm not going to say the honor because it's kind of really over pushing it, but just sort of like the astute, just being able to play it when it first came out, which was unfortunate that I couldn't because I didn't have an Xbox at the time. So I mean, later on, the game did come out on PC, or did around the same time. My brain is just not remembering dates, and I don't want to. It's sort of a lazy, knee-jerk reaction to this. But either way, it's like I did not, long story short, be able to play this said game at launch. I played it much later on, but I began to really love it. It was a great game. You know, it had this exploration to it, it had a freedom to it, and it was fun. I mean, sure, it had its bugs, it had some of its issues, but it wasn't a bad game at all. If not, it was really good. It was weird for some folks' taste, but hey, there's nothing wrong with weird. I mean, everyone has some sort of weird vibe to them, or some sort of weird, staple to their said brochure. You know, there's nothing usual about anybody. If anyone tells you that, then they're hiding something, obviously. You know, it's just how it is in life. So, Psychonauts 2, it's really great to see this actually finally coming to fruition. It's just really cool to be able to say that out loud. A Psychonauts 2 is being made. Now, if we can see in Half-Life 3, then all hell would break loose. The sky would crack open, a big-ass crack in the ceiling would come crashing down, and, you know, Gabe Newell will actually do something with his fucking life other than talking about politics with video game stuff. But anyway, not to bash on Gabe. Gabe is awesome. I think he's cool. His dry sense of humor and everything else around him is awesome. Just to get that out of the way. But yes, it's really cool to be able to say that out loud. I wish it was a Day of the Tentacle 2 coming out, but, you know, whatever. One bridge at a time, folks. One bridge at a time. So, yes. Final Fantasy IX is getting a said release on PC. Now, Final Fantasy VII and 8 came out for PC originally back in the day. You know, just as they were. I mean, the soundtrack for the PC was really freaking good. The PS1 one was just as good too, but at the same time, 9 never came out for PC. I'm not sure why. I think it was sort of like, screw it, whatever, and they just didn't do it at the time, which I don't understand why. I mean, it was still a game I think would do just as good on the PS1 as it would on, I almost said PS3, didn't I? Wouldn't do as good on the said system versus how good it would do on the PC. Again, this makes no sense to me. But good news about this said launch of the PC version is it's going to get a couple additional features. Some people just want to play the core game, which all the power to them. But at the same time, it's also nice to get some extra, swag, as it would be, as a word supposedly is being retired from 2005, as well as YOLO, which, thank fucking God, even though I joke about it all the time. Yeah, the satire is real, folks. So anyway, Final Fantasy IX is allowing players to turn off random encounters. That was a plague of that game. I mean, it wasn't horrendous, it wasn't super horrible, because my characters were beefy by the time I got to the objective or the place I needed to be in the game, but it was like, holy shit, every 3 nanoseconds, boom, 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 couldn't even make it to a point without triggering these damn monsters. But it basically offers 7 game boosters, including high speed and no encounter modes. So you can actually toggle things that you'd want along with the game. I'm assuming maybe a guide or go to here kind of thing. Maybe that, I don't know. But I'm assuming if you activate any of these boosters, it might disable the achievements or something like that. Maybe. I mean, even the game came with no achievements anyway, so this wouldn't bug me. Because if I had to turn off the no encounter thing, that would make me freaking happy as hell. I mean, I already got the game on the PS1. It's fantastic. It's next to being one of my favorites for the said series. At the same time, this makes me wonder. Now, they're going to release 9, but what are they going to do for the future? Are we going to see Final Fantasies like 15 hitting the PC at some point in the future, or is that no? I mean, I don't necessarily think it's going to, but at least not right now. But it's just sort of interesting the fact that how they can easily take a game, brush it off, and put it on something like the PC after so long. And I'm not sure why, other than the fact that they're trying to build up players who have nostalgia goggles on for the latest installment, 15, which I am getting that, by the way. That one's actually interests me. I mean, there's so much controversy behind 15, but I'll get into that some other time. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, the features are not going to bug me at all. I mean, you have autosave, which is cool. I mean, you know, that was always something I always kind of wanted secretly in the back of my head, too. You know, trying to find save points and all that shit, blah, 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 was always a pain in the ass. High definition movies and character models, which again, they're not really going to do too much. Let's be fucking honest here, they're not going to. It's going to be slight renderings or improvements, but I don't think it's going to be that, you know, exquisite. It's going to be decent enough for a decent upscale. So, yeah, I mean, good news for folks who don't have PlayStation 1s anymore, or don't, quite frankly, feel the need to buy any retro games or something, you know, even though the game's affordable. So, we're going to see a PC version of this game very soon. It's coming out this... I forgot which date, actually. Anyway, you guys can look it up. I'm too lazy to look it up myself. Anyway, closing out. Shenmue III. Now, the developers at YSNet ruffled some feathers recently when it decided not to extend the backer rewards that had been previously offered as Kickstarter exclusives to PayPal supporters. It was a strange move on the face of it. And by the way, I took this from PCGamer.com. I'm giving credit where credit's due, because obviously they don't write very well and I can't. Alright, so anyway, because the studio claimed that there was a strong response from people who wanted to maintain exclusivity, but the results of 2 polls it conducted in December indicated the opposite. There were more who wanted to open up the rewards than there were wanted to keep them exclusive. But the majority of respondents said that they don't really care either way or the other, and that's where things got tricky. Since the launch of the PayPal campaign, we've received numerous requests to remove the exclusivity from the certain Kickstarter rewards to make them available for the Slacker Backer campaign as well. A representative explained in an email, "We held the poll as a method to gain more accurate insight on the backer opinions and concerns. This matter, since we could not be sure that the requests that we received represented the opinion of the vast majority of the backers." EastNet, I'm just going to call them EastNet, it's fucking easier to say, a YSNet's foremost consideration was upholding the promise that it made during the original campaign, he said, and what else? It would also be willing to change the position of the majority of its backers supported doing so. That wasn't the case. So that's a snippet from the article. You can go look up, Google search Shenmue 3 PC Gamer to look up the rest of the information with the whole article, but that was just a snippet right there. I thought that, at least to me, was important, which is the beginning of the article. As far as this goes, I don't know why the fuck they changed their mind last minute. I don't understand where this would make sense. I mean, when it comes to something like that, and people put a lot of money down towards some of this shit, you should leave it alone. You know, it's up to the people who put the support into the projects in the first place to, you know, do what they want with the money because they're supposedly getting a product that they're promised. Like they said, backing up this product. You know, this isn't, you know, hey, you know, I ordered pickles at this burger, can you change it please? I don't think anyone really cares. But yet people streamlining their concern is just probably, I'm not sure the exact number, but probably was not as high enough as the said developer really wants to mention. I mean, probably it does, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just a stupid thing. They should left it the fuck alone once this thing already initiated. I mean, it's bad enough the project itself has already been underneath hot water as it's been. So, as far as I'm concerned, what the fuck, people? Why? But we won't get necessarily too many whys other than sugarcoat, so it's best to leave the periods in the, you know, the forefront here. So, yeah, I mean, Shenmue 3, as far as I'm concerned, it's been controversial as hell. It's just since the get-go. I mean, it sounded awesome on paper, and then weird shit happened, and very controversial shit, and it just turned into a very big snow wheel of doom. So, you also have that, you have Mighty Number 9, which had some drama behind that too, and it's just ridiculous. It just is. I mean, there's good positive things that come out of these Kickstarters. There is. You know, this type of thing doesn't necessarily spoil my whole mindset, because to let it do so it would just be acidine. To be more aware and self-aware of what you put your money into, it would be a better option rather than simply just ruling it out altogether. It's just like saying, hey, you know what, I hate cabbage, but I love spring rolls, or I love egg rolls. It's like, what the fuck? You can't have it both ways. You gotta say, okay, I appreciate cabbage inside that's been boiled down and, you know, put inside of a spring roll and an egg roll, but keep that cabbage the fuck away from me. You know, this comes out of me, though, and I, of course, like coleslaw, I like, you know, egg rolls, I like spring rolls, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of cabbage by itself. It's weird, right? It has to have a dressing, or it has to be, you know, melted down into, like, an egg roll or something delicious as such as that for me to enjoy it. It has to be, you know, I guess cloaked, so to speak, to sort of trick my mind into eating it or something. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a texture thing, because that's a silly, overused word, I think, with a lot of culinary people, but whatever. You know, at the end of the day, you like this, you don't like that. You know, whatever. It's like some people say they don't like raw tomatoes like myself, but you have to eat ketchup and, you know, eat a diced tomato inside of like a salad or something if it's like a, you know, like a gyro sandwich there. But anyway, enough of me talking about foods and making myself hungry. You know, I feel like a big, fat, 400-man body size plus Code Veronica X inside of a 200-some-odd pound man. It's sort of funny. But anyway, that would practically conclude this said podcast as it would be. I want to hear your guys' take on each one of these games, as well as any future games you've seen or heard of, have supported, and have received items from said games from the past, or at least something you're looking forward to in the future that's a sequel to a game that you're really, 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 really looking forward to. Let me know. Take it easy, folks. Touch my nipples.